In a world where mortgages tie people down and city life keeps them on their toes, some seek freedom in simplicity. Such is the story of Ruby, a young woman who turned away from the crowded hustle and built a charming tiny house on her generational family farm, nestled amidst rivers, swamps, and a mesmerizing landscape she lovingly calls paradise. The journey to build and inhabit this extraordinary home is one of self-discovery, adventure, and reverence for family heritage. Bryce Langston, a host known for discovering unique tiny homes worldwide, couldn't contain his admiration when he arrived at Ruby's secluded homestead. As humans, it's so natural for us to have a deep connection to the land where we were born, he reflects, setting the stage for Ruby's story. The journey to her tiny home was not easy. Ruby recalls navigating through rivers to reach her family farm. But as Bryce eagerly assures, the effort is well worth it. "It's like a holiday every time I come home from work," Ruby exclaims with a gleaming smile. "It's the best feeling ever." She feels deeply connected to her homeland, a place imbued with historical significance for her family. Ruby shares her pride in her heritage, being a descendant of one of the first European settlers in the area, her great-great-grandfather, Par Bethel, who arrived here in the late 1800s. Over time, her grandparents bought and nurtured a vast 700-acre farm that included lakes, sand dunes, and rich swampland, though they eventually had to sell part of the land, reducing it to the 350 acres Ruby calls home. For Ruby, this land is more than a home. It's an inseparable part of her identity, her Wakapapa ancestry, etched into its soil. "My ancestors and roots are all here," she says. A tattoo on her foot, representing her heritage, is her way of staying connected to her lineage. She describes the tattoo as Beethoven's, a symbolic reminder that wherever she walks, her family history walks with her. Not only has Ruby designed a home, but she has also crafted a lifestyle that blends work, play, and relaxation. As a professional gardener, Ruby's expertise shines in her lush gardens, filled with vegetables and fruit trees that serve as a growing step toward her goal of self-sufficiency. "Eventually, I do want to live off the land completely," she shares, though she acknowledges the challenges that come with her unique terrain. "It's all black sand here, which is hydrophobic soil, so you can water all you like, and it just doesn't want to absorb." To solve this, Ruby and her friends set up a 700-meter pipe that brings water from a nearby waterfall to her gardens, allowing her to nurture her crops without relying on pumps or power. This natural irrigation system, achieved through determination and resourcefulness, stands as a testament to her commitment to living sustainably. Stepping inside, Bryce finds himself enchanted by the character of Ruby's tiny house. It's a space filled with secondhand treasures, personal mementos, and a deep sense of belonging. Each corner tells a story, such as the dining table, crafted from timber sourced from Ruby's family farm and used by her grandparents to gather with their 6 children. "Now I've got it in my place," Ruby says proudly, highlighting the blend of family history and sustainable living that her home embodies. The countertops in her kitchen are made from old planks of native Hutakawa wood, lovingly sanded, polished, and given new life. Even the copper splashback, made from a repurposed hot water cylinder, is a creative collaboration between Ruby and her ex-boyfriend. "It's quite pliable, so it was easy to fit," she says, highlighting the creativity and teamwork behind many of the elements in her home. Despite its compact size, the kitchen is spacious enough to accommodate Ruby's love for cooking, a hobby nurtured through years of experience as a baker. Her kitchen connects directly to her gardens, allowing her to incorporate fresh, homegrown produce into her meals. "I spend a lot of time making food," she says, noting that cooking from scratch is an essential part of her lifestyle. Ruby's commitment to sustainability extends beyond her kitchen and gardens. The home's power setup, connected to her father's system, is supplemented with gas bottles for hot water. The bathroom and composting toilet, separated from the main structure, create additional space and make her tiny home feel larger and more luxurious. Her bathroom is another DIY masterpiece. What started as a simple design grew into a surprisingly luxurious space, featuring tiles salvaged from a construction site and a stone floor made with leftover rocks from a friend's family. The effort and resourcefulness Ruby invested are evident, and each element reflects her unique touch. Ruby is especially proud of her composting toilet, set in a separate structure with a large tank that needs emptying only every few years. It's a low-maintenance, eco-friendly solution that fits perfectly with her vision of sustainable living. The setup allows her to stay self-sufficient without compromising the comfort and functionality of her home. For Ruby, the tiny house represents more than just a home. It symbolizes a life free from the burden of debt. She was determined to be mortgage-free before turning 30, a goal she achieved with her tiny house. "I didn't want to be tied down to the bank," she says, describing mortgages as an imprisoning kind of feeling. The total cost of Ruby's home? A modest $60,000. The most significant expense was the trailer itself, which set her back $55,000, leaving only $5,000 for the rest of the project. By using recycled materials and doing much of the work herself, Ruby managed to create a beautiful, functional home without the crushing financial strain that traditional homeownership often entails. "I didn't want a huge mortgage," she reflects. "I want to look back on my life and think that I didn't work it away." Ruby's home and lifestyle embody a philosophy that resonates with many. The idea of building a life that prioritizes freedom, sustainability, and deep connections to family, heritage, and the land. As Bryce wraps up his tour, he's clearly moved by Ruby's story and the beautiful space she has created. Her tiny house is more than a shelter. It's a statement about resilience, creativity, and independence. It's a life built from scratch, filled with cherished memories, family heritage, and a commitment to living lightly on the earth. Ruby's journey serves as an inspiration to anyone seeking a life beyond material constraints, where freedom and connection define the boundaries of home. Ruby has crafted a paradise that is both rooted in history and bursting with possibility, a place where past and present meet to create a future rich with meaning. For Ruby, this tiny house on her family farm isn't just a home. It's a sanctuary, a testament to her heritage, and a symbol of a life lived on her terms. Bryce marvels at the commitment Ruby has for her land and the breathtaking beauty she has surrounded herself with. Her life here is an idyllic blend of adventure and tranquility. Weekends are filled with motorbike riding, four-wheel driving, surfing, and swimming in the nearby lake. In her quest to live a life untethered from debt and firmly connected to her heritage, Ruby designed and built her tiny house herself. It all began when her father, who works in the film industry sourcing vehicles, spotted trailers with office spaces on top. Ruby saw an opportunity to build something similar, a sustainable home that would allow her to stay rooted to her family's land while maintaining the freedom of mobility. Ruby's father towed the trailer through rivers and rugged terrain, eventually parking it in the beautiful spot she now calls home. With help from family and friends, she set to work transforming this bare-bones structure into a cozy, functional living space. It was a project driven by frugality and ingenuity. Ruby used mostly secondhand materials, collected from friends, family, and local sellers. Her approach was as eco-friendly as it was cost-effective. The tiny house measures 10 meters long by 3.5 meters wide, a size Ruby describes as perfect for her needs. "It doesn't feel too claustrophobic," she explains, attributing this to the clever layout and stunning view of the sprawling swamp and landscape outside. This paradise serves as her backyard, giving her a daily connection to nature and the cherished family land. Bryce is struck by the luxury of Ruby's outdoor tub, strategically positioned to overlook the scenic swamp. The tub, surrounded by nature, allows Ruby to unwind while immersing herself in the beauty that surrounds her. It's one of the many touches that make her tiny home feel as vast as the land it sits on.